We're going to go ahead and get started with some tech things. This presentation is a presentation that happens at the Society of Advanced Communicators every year, and 3 years ago I got pulled into this presentation. So Bryant Taylor is the one behind this one. First thing that we're going to talk about again is Subsplash, which is the app that I was telling you guys about earlier. Originally, they designed Subsplash as an online giving app. And we already have that with Adventist online giving. But Subsplash realized, well, if we're already doing this, there's more that we can do. And so there are more than 5,000 churches already on Subsplash, and some of them you might recognize those names. They have apps, online giving. They've got podcasts, and if you upload your podcast to their platform, it will go on to every major podcast platform. So they take care of that for you. They also will create a Roku channel for you. They now are doing websites as well. So it's kind of a one-stop shop, like I mentioned earlier. And it can be kind of pricey, but work with the salesperson, and they generally will work with the budget that you have. So be open and transparent about that, because they want to make a sale. And if you say, well, I can't do it for more than this, and that you're walking away, pretty much you'll get it for what you're wanting it. So just know how to negotiate, because they're more concerned with making the sale than the amount of the sale, if that makes sense. I used to work at a hotel, and we were the same way with rooms. Like, we had our set price, but by the end of the night, we were more concerned with having more rooms sold than the amount that was coming in, because a room is not earning any money unless somebody's in that room. So.
You mentioned online giving. Is that Subsplash connected to online giving, or?
They have their own version of giving online. It's not with Adventist online giving. It's two separate companies, and this is not an Adventist company.
So, I guess I have a question. We're in the middle of fundraising to buy our building, and I guess I was talking to Adventist Connect with this kind of company, but that's a little complicated. So, I wanted to have like a one-click button on the website without having to go through all this IR, my favorite little test thing before they get the building. So is there a way to do that?
Sure. We actually use PayPal for that when we're doing something for a one-time thing, and we're not wanting to put that onto every tithe envelope or on Adventist online giving, making that a separate category. We actually create a button through our PayPal account, and then that goes on our website, and they can click that, and it's strictly for that.
Okay, so I guess are you saying you don't know, or it's not flexible to just have the one item on there with online giving?
No. No.
It's not flexible.
No. Online giving is basically your tithe envelope, and it has the breakdown on there. Yeah. How many of you guys have drones? Do you have insurance for your drone? No. Our previous communication director had a drone for the office and got insurance for it. We didn't know about this. And all of a sudden we started seeing this line item on our budget where it was over $2,000 every year coming out of our budget for drone insurance. And we're like, what in the world? We didn't have a drone at that point. So, but now we do, and we have found a much more cost-effective way of dealing with drone insurance. Verifly. Verifly is on demand, so it gives you a radius for $10 for a half-hour flight time, which most batteries on drones do not last a half hour, so you have to have multiple batteries to make that half hour possible. And it gives you $10 million worth of coverage, so damage. It doesn't replace your drone, that $10 million is if it causes damage to somebody else, medical bills. Yeah, sorry, you guys know what I'm trying to say. But anyway, sometimes your mind just goes blank. So this was our solution. It is an app that you can download on your phone. And you hit get started, and it takes your GPS location from your phone as to the radius that it's going to work off of. So we use this for camp meeting. We have a 5K race every camp meeting, and this way we can track the racers, and the setup is within that half-mile radius. But you can actually up that, sorry, it's really tiny writing, to 2 miles. And I think for 2 miles, and it ups the price, but it starts off with a half mile, $10 for a half mile radius. So anyway. Yeah, in case we bonk somebody on the head, which could happen with runners. Yeah, for a half hour at a half or 1 mile radius, it's $10 for $10 million worth of coverage, which is a huge deal. Beats that $2,000 a year. Yes. It's recommended to get certified. You don't have to unless it's a commercial drone. If it's an individual's drone, you don't have to. However, there are more and more restrictions coming to drones because now with the possibility of Amazon delivering items to your house via drone and robot prescriptions being delivered to your house, there's more and more regulations because there's going to be more and more things in the air. So if you don't have a drone and you do need footage, I was just sharing with you earlier, there is a stock video website that, can you pull that up? I sent it to you. Do you remember? I can't remember it off the top of my head. That a lot of travel vloggers are actually turning to because there are more and more restrictions with drones going into certain countries. There are certain countries that drones cannot go into. So these travel vloggers that are going around the world need aerial shots, they need time-lapse shots, and so you can actually go to this stock video website and actually download the footage that you need as B-roll. So that is... Did you text it? Yeah, I texted it to you. I can't remember if it was on my computer or my phone.
How long ago?
A couple weeks.
That's not gonna...
Okay.
We'll look it up.
Yeah, we'll look that up and I'll send it to Tammy. So podcasting, like we shared earlier, podcasting has become kind of a big deal in our office. Never, when I was going through school, did I think that I was going to be this involved in podcasting. But you don't have to have an expensive setup to do podcasting. There are some cheap alternatives and some really good ones. One that I found that I love is the Shure Motive mics. There's 5 mics in the series, depending on what type of recording you want to do. And they're all at different price points too. The one that would be most handy for your church is the interface, because the interface can take an XLR cable and a 1/4-inch cable and pull in your audio directly from your soundboard to your iPhone or to a USB device. Unfortunately, it doesn't work with Android. It was designed for iOS, but at $129, it's not that big of a purchase to go digital for your church, for the sermons. Because this is hard to admit, but Rachel knows what I'm talking about. Her church just went digital probably about 3 years ago. They fought it and were still using cassette tapes up until 5 years ago when they went to CD. the reason I say that is we used to be church members. This was my former church, and so that's why I know this. But there are churches in our conference that are still doing cassette tapes, and they say that it's too expensive to go digital with their sermons. $129 is not that big of a price to go digital. Another option for that, because that would bring in mono sound on that interface. Have you guys ever used Tascam recorders? These allow for stereo input, so you can bring in a left and right XLR or quarter-inch cable directly from your soundboard again, and it records it directly to an SD card. So this, you don't have to be a Mac person if you're not a Mac person. And then you can just take that and upload it directly with minimal editing to your website for your church. If you are wanting to do a podcast show and bring in a guest that cannot be present in the room with you, what do you use? A lot of people use Skype or another form of VOP. There we go. VOP. Too many acronyms. VOP phone to bring in the audio track. Well, this is $19.99 on Amazon, and it is a quarter-inch to your headphone and a quarter-inch to your input, and then regular mini to your phone. And this allows them to hear what's coming through your mic in the conversation. This brings them into your headphones, and it's a very condensed amount of equipment to be able to bring in a guest via your phone. Here, Storyblocks is the website that has the stock video. So we use, that's supposed to be down below, but anyway, sorry. Buzzsprout is the podcast platform that we use, or hosting that we use for our podcasts. It was designed for churches, and that's one of the reasons why we've gone with this one. There are some others out there that are completely free. This one, the basic tier, is free, but the next tier, you're paying for archiving, and it's $12.99 per month, which is not a big expenditure for unlimited archiving space and up to 3 hours of audio a month in uploading. So that's not that much. And if you are having more than 3 to 4 hours worth of audio from your sermons, that's a problem. Cut them down. But the nice thing with Buzzsprout is it gives you analytics. And I was talking with Grant about this earlier. Statistics was my favorite grad school class. So anything that gives me analytics, I get kind of excited about and I annoy Becky with. But I can tell how many unique listens to our podcast platform. A unique listen is a new IP address. So a new cell phone that's listening to it, a new computer, a new tablet, I can then subtract that from our listens that week, and I can see how many returns we're getting as well from that. But it shows me over the last 5 episodes where in the world it's being listened to, what countries are the most popular, what cities within those countries are the most popular cities, what devices it's being listened to on. And so I really like everything that they give me, and that's another reason why we've stuck with them. They also will work with you in integrating the podcast host to the major podcast outlets. And once you're on the major podcast outlets, you're on every podcast platform. So there are 6 major podcast platforms or outlets out there. Anchor is the free podcasting platform. It's completely free, no matter how much you upload. I haven't had much experience with this, and so I'm just giving this to you as an option if you're not wanting to pay the $12.99 a month for archiving. The archiving's free on this. How many of you are live streaming and how many of you are wanting your service to be live streamed? That should be a good portion of you. Live streaming, again, does not have to be expensive. You can either live stream directly to Facebook, which is free. You can live stream to YouTube, which is free. So you don't have to subscribe to the services like Livestream or Restream or what's Blackbox is another one, or Ustream is another one. But the camera that we're going to show you right now is called the Mevo Plus, and this thing is pretty cool. It is a 4K lens. This is a battery pack that it extends the battery to 10 hours. It's an hour without the battery pack. You control this from your phone, and it gives the impression to your viewer that there are 9 different cameras being operated, but it's one camera. You can pan with it, you can lock it on your presenter, and it will move. As your presenter moves into the different frames of reference, it will automatically switch. So you can do this without somebody just sitting there changing the different perspectives. It's one camera.
Screen.
Yes, there is a digital zoom. I forget what X it is, but I can find that out for you. They just came out with it, or are coming out with a new version of this, or a second model of this, that is a little bit cheaper, and it's coming out in April. And it's even thinner, and it's a longer battery life without the battery pack. But the difference also audio-wise, for this, you're stuck to the mic that is directly on this camera for your audio, unless you bring in audio from the soundboard to your mobile device that you're controlling it from. With this version, you can plug in external audio directly into it. So that's a game changer on this camera versus this camera.
And it can connect to a mic stand as well as a tripod.
Mm-hmm. And if you can see that it's very slim. It kind of fades away. People aren't going to notice it. The one thing I will tell you is, even though it has a digital zoom, get it as close to the platform as you can, because digital zoom always breaks down the quality of the image. And even though it's a 4K lens, it's not a 4K camera. Does that make sense? So it does 1080, but it streams at 720. Mm-hmm. Yes, it's the same features, but cheaper, and you can also pull in the audio directly into the camera and not through your, and you're not tethered with your device that you're controlling it from to the board.
Our church signed up with Vimeo Premium last year. You were actually able to get one of the Mevo cameras for free, so there are deals out there.
There are, yeah. The different points of reference?
Yeah. How does that work? Because you only have one camera.
You have one camera, but the way the software is set up, you can set on that wide angle different things that you're wanting to zoom in on. So
in this room, if we wanted to switch from these people over here to these people over here, it would be instant, because the camera is
it's
picking
an extreme
all of
wide
that up at one time. But the digital, it just takes segments. But
Yeah.
you can also take your finger and go
and pan across it, and it
or you can zoom out or zoom in. So it's very
just on your phone
or tablet.
or on your tablet, and it makes it look like you have a bigger setup than you actually do, which is it's just one camera. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it's made for that purpose, so that you can start small. I mean, it's a cheap camera to start small with live streaming.
I'm focusing on the platform of my altar, and I want to focus on the congregation as well. I don't think it does that.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't do 360. Yeah, it's just where that lens is focused. Yeah.
But if you set up on the side, you could get a side view of your presenter and a side view of your audience. You could do both.
Yeah. You have to connect through the app. Yeah, but they also do, each of these has a TF card slot in it, so you can record directly to the camera, still using the app on your phone, but you don't have to use it for live stream. You can record it directly to the card. Okay. This next part is just a few fun items that I kind of like. I got into this discussion with my eye doctor last month about blue light. I wear contact lenses, and he was wanting me to get my glasses that I only wear at night tinted to block blue light from the computer screen and tablet and TV and everything that I'm on for 90% of the day. So he realized that I wasn't going to do that because I only wear my glasses for maybe 10% of the time. And so he told me to get these. I got these from Amazon, 2-pack for $10. And we're on our screens so much of the time. Okay. So there you go. These actually reduce the strain on your eye muscle. They also can reduce optical headaches that you can get from staring at your devices for too long. They have different frames, different looks for different prices. This was a 2-pack for $10, which is a pretty good deal in my book. Do you guys have people that are always asking you for dongles to connect your computers? You don't know what a dongle is? It is a weird word, but because we all have different computers, not every computer plugs up to HDMI, and not every computer plugs up to RGB, and so you have these different connectors, and everybody's always losing them. Brian and I were just talking about this earlier this morning, and if you have TVs or projectors in your churches, this is called Anycast, and this works with Android, with iOS. This also works with PC and Mac, and it creates a mini, like a small Wi-Fi sphere that the device can connect to and mirror that device to whatever this is plugged up to, and this is HDMI. It does have to have USB power to it, but that's around $20 for this, and it's a great solution for if you have different presenters coming in and you're wanting to connect them. Not sure just what happened, but anyway. But they have the 4K version, which is around $32, which not many churches have the 4K projectors. So you might not need the 4K version. You could get away with the 1080. So.
And if you want to watch Netflix in your hotel room.
Well, actually, you can't use this for Netflix. You can't. Netflix has a... It's making any TV being able to accept a mirror from your phone, or if I was not hooked up to HDMI or with this wireless setup that Brian has, I could have this plugged into the projector and not even be connected and be sharing my presentation. So it's not charged, but it's USB powered. So it has to be plugged in to, and a lot of the TVs have a USB slot that you can just pull power from for that, or a cell phone charger if you're plugged up to a projector. But then this is its wireless antenna, so. And it does stream audio and everything like you're connected directly into that. Okay, how many of you have youth activities on a Saturday night? A couple of you guys. Do you guys do karaoke? I did. Do you guys do karaoke at all with them? Okay.
Rachel's going to like this. Tell already.
This is a personal karaoke mic. It connects via Bluetooth to your tablet or to your phone. You can control everything from the mic, and it also connects with smart TVs. So if your smart TV, if you download a karaoke app on there, you can then connect this. This has a 10-hour battery, so most youth events are not going to last 10 hours, but you don't have to stop and charge in the middle of it. And it's a fraction of the cost of regular karaoke machines if you're renting them or buying them. Depending on the model that you want, it can be anywhere from $16 to $60. But from the Bon Oak, you can. It also has reverb on it, so it's.
Testing, 1, 2, 3, woohoo! That's pretty cool. No, thank you. I'll turn it up louder though. How's that?
Gmail has a new feature. Whoa.
Sorry, it makes noise when you turn it off.
Gmail has a new feature called confidential email. How many times do your church board need to send stuff out to your church board members, but you don't want it floating around the church? Confidential email, you can't forward that email, and there is an expiration. So if they have looked at it, it will then disappear. If they haven't looked at it, it will expire by a certain time, and it is free. It's included in your Gmail account now. So confidential email from Gmail is definitely something that you want to look into if your church board does have to send out sensitive information that you don't want floating around the church. Now, we talked about vectors earlier with Becky. Sometimes if you're working with a printer, they demand that the image that you send them is a vector and not a JPEG or a PNG or TIFF. What are some other? Well, that's the JPEG. Anyway, Vector Magic is actually free, and it will it's web-based. You can upload your JPEG or PNG or TIFF file to it, and it will export it as a vector image that the printers will be happy that you sent them, so that they can scale your project to whatever size, and it doesn't lose perspective. All right. Now, this is the fun part. We have 2 giveaways, one from Tammy and one from me. Let's do this one.
You're an impartial person.
Yeah.
Tammy, you want
Yeah, Tammy, you want to come so that we can't be accused of playing favorites, since I know half the room. So, you got a Bluetooth speaker for you guys, or for one person.
All right. I didn't look at it. Becky Brooks.
Hey, Brooks. Yeah.
I had no idea what Becky
What?
used to work for me.
And then this one is mine. I'm giving you guys my interface. So, my short interface. So,
Benedict.
Benedict, there you go. Thank you. You're welcome.
All right.
Okay. Yeah. One quick thing. If you guys also are looking for ways of keeping your cables neat in your bag when you're traveling, Dollar Tree sunglass holders, just cheap. So, yeah, it works.
It also works good for sunglasses.
Yeah.
So there's a tip for you.